government just doesn't want to help it. So this guy may have condemned me to a long, slow death, and then suffering from poverty until I end up homeless and die. Almost worse than just ending up on a ventilator and having died right when I got infected. Maybe in some perspectives worse because, there was false hope. So yeah, Bill Maher was an absolute piece of trash going around not taking the pandemic seriously enough and not encouraging others not to. He just parrots whatever the Democratic Party is doing at the time. Sometimes that's good and often that's not. And Biden was not taking the pandemic very seriously because a political advisor told him if he didn't announce the pandemic was over early, that he would basically lose the 2024 elections. Well, he lost anyways, and a lot of people died because of his irresponsibility. So, great. I am not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. Or at least, I'll vote for Democrats, but both of the parties are garbage. I am a socialist and want to see an end to the two-party system, want to see third parties have a real say. It's undemocratic to force people into only being able to pick between two options. And the way the system is structured effectively forces people to choose between just one of two options. And then those two options are because there's only two, it's very easily controlled by billionaires. So it's not just that the number of choices are made. It's that the two choices don't actually differ from that much from each other. And they don't serve the interests of the voters at all. If there were more than two parties, the parties would be more aligned with voters, and people would have more options. And they would differ from each other more. Yeah. Two-party system needs to go. Some noise here. I was trying to see. I think it's upstairs, neighbors. I don't know. Someone outside. Something. Fortunately, I got pulled into the backstage. So short of using a milestone skill in the extra to piece out of here, which or logging out. I don't know what that would do to the performance, but it caused it to be canceled. I've never tried it, I don't think. I've certainly never seen what happens if someone else did it. Folks on YouTube, I'm going to pause this until the performance begins. Here we go. Folks on YouTube, welcome back. I was noting my character uses the title Master Weaponsmith. It's kind of an advertisement for, someone wants a custom weapon, like there's not something on the auction house and they haven't gotten their legendary weapon yet. Or they want something lower level, because higher level crafters can always make lower level stuff. In fact, they might be better equipped for it, because they might bundle making lower level stuff with higher level stuff at the same time and use more powerful buff to their crit chance, so that it may be easier. Of course, that's only if there's reason to make the higher level stuff. Higher level crafter is also more likely to say be a more skilled scholar, and so I can make better. I don't see here crafting lore, which increases the crit chance. For instance, ancient weaponsmithing or 10.5% weaponsmith crit chance. So I can make lower tier stuff, but use the ancient ore. Probably should I have grabbed fruit? possible I haven't... Have I finished these all? Probably. I don't see theater stuff. Right. Food, drink, and music were all in plenty on the start reading the narration, though some were getting suspicious of some of the more nefarious guests. I must say, I've never had so much fun in my life, but who invited that sour-looking dwarf? Oh well, how are you enjoying the party? Am I supposed to be the sour-looking dwarf? Cheer again. Easy enough. Another useless writ. Just use it. Can't even transfer with other characters. It's bound to character. And so the party continued. All throughout the day, there was feasting and merriment. While the hobbits were preparing dinner, others were preparing something completely different. Everything is going according to plan, Gandalf. No one suspects a thing, not even that pesky Frodo. Are you ready to spring our trap and steal man Baggins' fortune? Evil dwarf. This is a terrible impression of the evil dwarf. If I ever try and make a shot at doing voice acting, I'll definitely have to practice and get better. I'm sure what you meant to say was, we'll be ready, yes, we will. A tent was erected over the prairie tree to hold dinner for Bilbo and his guests. After the feast, Bilbo and Frodo rose. It was time for the party speech. All in attendance waited with great anticipation to see what Bilbo would say. Bilbo and I would like to thank all of you for attending. We cannot express our gratitude for how happy we are with being with you tonight. Before we conclude this evening, my uncle has something he would like to say. Actually, the text is a little small for me to read. How quickly it moves, especially with posting stuff like looking for a show. Ah, Uncle, can be so funny sometimes, can't you, Uncle? I'm rather enjoying Bilbo's speech, are you not? Just cheer to everything. Easy for extra. Now I believe Bilbo has an announcement. Or what my uncle meant to say was... Gandalf now. This guy. And that would be permanent. Oh, what level is he? I hate this when they do anonymous. Usually it's higher level characters though. You know what? No. I suppose I should have looking for fellowship to the fellowship filters. Alright. I'll keep it a bit less empty and it'll help me find new fellowship members I'm in a fellowship. And so our tale comes to an end. To this day, no hobbit has seen or heard from Mr. Baggins or the old wandering conjurer, though some claim on cool, clear nights the sound of distant laughter and jingling coins can still be heard around the old party tree. I was better at doing voices before long COVID, but not that much better. It's just I have a nice voice that I think that maybe if I trained it, maybe I might have a shot at doing voice acting, and that's the type of work that I might be able to do. But long COVID, since you go into a studio and record for 2 or 3 hours, and it's probably easy enough to take breaks. Most of the work is preparing your part and practice, which I might not be able to do. Many gigs I might have to space them further apart in order to have more time to practice, since I can't put as many hours a day as a healthy person, but it might still be possible. Maybe. Most likely not, but I give it 5 to 10% odds, which is better than anything else. Which has pretty much 0% odds I can do any other job, so maybe worth a shot. If I can get Social Security and then try and get the government to pay pay for the training, even if they won't. At least when I have that knowledge that the $3,000 I would need to do multiple voice acting things, like 3 courses or so of it, would not make the difference between my becoming homeless before I can fight through the Social Security process and not, because I can't give up on it. I'll just have to keep fighting, even if my Administrative Law Judge thing gets rejected in appeals council, then I'll just have to start a new application. I cannot work, so my only options are either to die or to fight Social Security until I die. And hope I don't end up dying and succeed instead. Alright, leveled up and gained the defensive strike ability. What saw that in there? Creates a battle raid stance, increases threat. Better than Wrath of the Firstborn, which is a garbage ability. Only 3% damage to the fellowship. For being high elf, it's not even anything to do with being captain. Like 30% damage to one character for 10 seconds if the entire fellowship is within range, which they usually won't be. It's garbage.
Can't you leave me to my misery?
Okay, and I give him a coin. Yeah, so a lot of the so-called social safety net things in the U.S. only exist to pretend that there's a social safety net.
What can I do for
hyper-specific programs that you can be considered qualified for under extremely specific circumstances, and even when you meet the written requirements, the bureaucrats will find excuses to deny you for. Or, programs that are just way underfunded, where the amount people receive is grossly inadequate. But rather than put more money so those amounts be more adequate, politicians would just create new programs. That's partly so they attach their name to the new names to new programs, but it's a large part just so they can say there's enough programs already, even though if you add them all together, it's still not nearly enough. They just don't want to fund these things because they'd rather put money into military spending, which helps build an empire and helps enrich the billionaire class, both because economic imperialism, the empire being built as one of neo-colonial empire, so it's not putting the American flag over countries, it's forcing them to allow American corporations to dominate the country, and very often making corrupt deals with compliant elites who the military helped ensure was put in power after a regime change operation, who will ensure that the American companies don't have local competition, if that's even technologically possible, like in Iraq after the invasion. Oil industry is a fairly capital-intensive thing. There's pretty much no possibility of local entities even forming unless the government forms a national oil company and puts massive resources into it. So just making sure politicians don't try to do that. And certainly don't nationalize any of the local oil assets. Is, what that's about. Of course, the U.S. isn't so much trying... Oil is a special case. The U.S. isn't trying so much to steal the oil of countries as it is trying to ensure that oil is traded in U.S. dollars, the petrodollar. The U.S., as long as the oil supply all has to be bought and sold in dollars, the U.S. essentially steals money from every country on the earth through the way that the petrodollar enables the U.S. to engage in massive deficit spending without as much inflation as should occur with that amount of deficit spending. So basically, it reduces the value of other currencies so that the dollar is stronger than it should be, given what the U.S. trade balances are and stuff, and it's already not the strongest, but it'd be even weaker without this. And so this ultimately enables the U.S. to run a bigger deficit, set lower taxes on the rich. It's a form of, without the normal drawbacks of such large deficits, it's a form of theft. It causes countries, when the U.S. buys stuff from them, to not have to pay as much as it should. And it steals a little bit from everyone instead of a lot from one country, so it's almost unnoticeable. But the petrodollar adds up to a massive transfer of wealth to the U.S. But aside from oil, it is usually about control of the resources. So when it's metals or farmland or whatever, the U.S. has a lot of farmland, but the Ukraine proxy war is very much about control of farmland now, with global warming threatening to create farmland shortages. Okay, well, shoot, 48 minutes. I'm gonna have to cut this video. Hope you all enjoy this. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. And may you always find a guiding star to lead you home. Until next time, it's Northstar. Do best luck to you all.